everyone! If you're watching this video, then that probably means you've seen my game demo. Woo! And if you've seen my game demo, you're going to notice that I made a bit of art in there. I made a couple pieces of art. And if you want to make some art just like the ones in the game, then, well, it won't be just like mine because, you know, you have your own unique art style, but I can help you with program choices. This program is called Firealpaca. And Firealpaca is pretty much a free version of Photoshop. It has some similar features. I mean, it doesn't have everything, but it is free, so that's pretty cool. So you can download Firealpaca from the website, and I'll be sure to link that. And the first thing that's going to pop up is this right here, this little pop-up. It just shows up every time. It's not really like, you know, it's kind of like an ad. You can just hit OK, and it'll disappear. So, if you actually want to start drawing on Firealpaca, and this actually goes for a lot of different programs as well. So, if you follow this, you might be able to navigate other different drawing programs because they're all pretty similar. The layout might be a bit different though. So basically, if you want to start drawing, first you're going to need to make a canvas because right now it's blank. You can't do anything. Even though I'm trying to draw, it's not doing anything. So you're going to want to click File, New, and then it'll pull up the Create New Image pop-out. So here you can change the width and the height, and you can change the units measured in, so it's like pixels, centimeters, inches. I normally keep it at pixels, it's just how I like it. You can change the resolution, you can have all these really cool different features that you can change. So this is the background color. You can either make it just flat color or transparent. I normally keep it transparent because that's just how I like to do it, but you can use whatever. And this is just a bunch of other things that I don't normally touch. Like the DPI, I don't normally change it from 350. But for this height and width, I'm going to go with 1080 and 1920, just the standard screen size. I'm going to hit OK, and then whoa, a canvas pops up. It's amazing. So, now that you have your canvas, you could actually start drawing on it just now. So, as you can see, the pencil, it's always going to be the first thing that's selected. And if you want to draw on it, you can either left click with your mouse, and you can make mouse doodles like Jen. Ha, that's funny. And Control-Z, Control-Z, Control-Z. Okay. Or if you have a tablet, that'll make the drawing process a lot easier actually, because then you can add pressure and stuff to it. Make all sorts of different lines. Yeah. So this is just the standard pen right now, and these are your different types of brushes that you have. So right now I'm just using a regular old pen, and that's, as you can see, pretty basic. That's all. They have fading in and out pen, so it's different because it'll actually taper it when you draw with it. So that's pretty cool. You could use that to get a specific art style going. We have the pencil tool. Oh, that's the eraser. The eraser actually erases, but there's a tool for that right here. We have the pencil tool. It's a bit lighter than the other ones. It could be used for sketching and whatnot. I don't know why I just keep writing my name, but it's the first thing I can think of. And then you have things like the airbrush and blur, so you can blur things. You have watercolor, and you can test out all these really cool pens and stuff. They even have some sort of specific pattern set out, like leaves. You can make leaves. It's pretty cool. So that's that over there. For now, I'm just gonna go for the standard pen. And if you notice, my lines look pretty smooth. Wow, that's some smooth lines. How does she do it? Well, the trick is I don't actually do it. There's something in the program that helps me do it. And it's up here called the stabilizer. Now, I think it's like a smoothing tool, sometimes it's called, but it's basically, if you mess with the value on here, you'll see that if I set it to 0, oh no, that's a lot curvier and not as cool looking. It's definitely not as smooth. But if I set it all the way to something like 40, as you can see, oh, look at that. Oh, perfect. Beautiful lines. Amazing. So it basically just kind of, like the name says, stabilizes your pen. And I normally like to keep that at a 20 or so. When I sketch though, I like to keep it at 0 just because it instantly reads what I do. When you add on the stabilizer, it does there is a bit of delay, just a small bit of delay, which actually helps you smooth out your lines. So when I'm sketching, I normally like to keep it at a 0, and when I'm line arting, I like to keep it at a 20. Those are my preferences though. You can do whatever you'd like. So now you're probably noticing my pen's kind of thin. I mean, it's fine, whatever. It works for maybe if I want to draw just a stick figure or something. Well, yeah, and then it's just a random old stick figure. That's fine. But if you want to change the thickness of the pen, like say you want to make it thick or thin, you can use the brush sizes over here. The brush sizes we have it goes from 0.5 to 1,000. So you've got a large range of brush sizes that you can use. So 15 here, it's about that big. Change it to 5, going all the way to 1,000. Oh, that's a lot. And then going to 1, it's very small. So yeah, there's where you can change all the sizes of your brush. And honestly, we can make a little stick figure. We can make thicker stick figures. We can make even thicker stick figures. It's very cool. But we don't want to just keep everything black and white. I mean, we can if we wanted to, but we have an entire array of colors over here that we can choose from. So in order to change the color on your pen, you can use this sliding or scrolling thing right here, and then put it on a color that you want. And you'll notice that your actual color is displayed right here. And you can move it around and see the different shades. So this is hyper saturated, and this is very desaturated. So the saturation goes up as you go over to your right, and it goes down as you go over to your left. It gets darker as you go down and lighter as you go up. And you kind of just have a whole bunch of colors to pick from, and you can do blue stick figures and stuff. Very cool, very cool. But, oh no, I've drawn my blue stick figure on top of my black stick figure. So let's say I actually don't really like how that arm looks. Oh no, I'm erasing my black stick figure too. What am I gonna do? This is bad. Well, we can decide to put the other stick figure on a different layer. So here's where all of your layers and such are. If you click this, it'll make a new layer for you. If you click this, it'll make a new folder for you, and with the folders you can put your layers in them. It kind of group things together. That's helpful when you have a bunch of different layers going on. It'll make it so that you can just organize everything better. This one will duplicate your layers. So now, as you can see, there are 2 that have the exact same thing. And you can turn on and off your layers by hitting this button right here, and you can't see it, but I just hid that layer. And when the layer is hidden, you can't draw on it. So don't even try, because Firealpaca is not going to let you. So here, I can turn this one off too, and it's visible, invisible, visible, invisible, visible, invisible. So that's pretty cool. I'm just going to delete these. I'll make a new layer and I'll delete this one. Oh yes, this is how you delete a layer as well. A little trash can. And something really cool about Firealpaca is it has, so let's say we make this blue squiggles. Nah, let's make it cooler. Let's say we make a little blob friend. So we've made a little blob friend, but let's see, let's give a little blob friend another little blob friend. Okay, now let's say we don't want them on separate layers. We don't want to separate them. Look at them, they look happy, but they truly want to actually be together. Well, we've drawn them on different layers. What can we do? We have this button right here, and it'll actually merge the layers down together. So it'll take the top layer and then push it onto the bottom layer. So now you can see our 2 blob friends, they're together and happy. When I write on this blob and I try to erase, he is now on the same layer. So that's pretty cool. I think I will separate them again after all though. Sorry, blob figures. And there are also these different blending things that you can move, like you can use on different layers. So let's say we change this to add. You can't really see much of a difference, but it's it's more apparent when here. Let's go down here, and I'll just change the background behind our blob to some purple. Change the brush size. Oh, that's the eraser. No, go back to the pen. And the blob is now on a purple background. Now, when we change this, you can see that these different layer effects do different things to our little blob friend's color. And honestly, the effect changes like depending on like what color you're using. So I can't tell you exactly what all of them do, but you can mess around with it and you can make some really cool things. But I think I'm going to change it back to normal. And I'll put them back on normal background. Alright, so cool. We got that. But let's say we wanted to change the opacity of one of the layers. So let's say our blue blob friend isn't feeling too good, and he's just, he finds himself fading away. He finds himself fading away. How would we make him do that? Well, right here we have a little opacity slider, and it allows you to change the opacity of your layers. And this is really helpful when you're sketching. So let's say, goodbye blob friends, I'll just hide you for now. Let's say we're doing a sketch, and I'll just go to pencil. Let's say we're doing a sketch and we're just making something. It's kind of dark, but it happens. It's whatever. So let's say we're doing that. Maybe we add some of that. Maybe we add some of this. Little arm. Keep it like that. So let's say we have like this base right here, and we want to draw over it. So we start a new layer. We change it to pen, and then we change it to like 15, whatever. We change our stabilizer, and we're drawing on the sketch. It's a little bit hard. It's a little bit hard to differentiate sometimes what's like the sketch and what's not the sketch. So what we can do actually is go to the sketch layer and lower the opacity. So that way you can see like it faintly there and use it, just trace over it. But it's not like super in the way, so that now you can see more of like what you're doing. And that'll help. Like that. Alright, I think that covers a lot of the basic drawing stuff when it comes to this program, but we have some other cool, neat features as well. I've realized now that I forgot to mention that this over here in the side, this will help you pan around, and that's probably really important because when you're drawing, you don't just like keep your canvas right here like 100% of the time and draw like this. Sometimes you have finer details that you want to get to, and sometimes you want to like focus on a certain part of the screen. So you can actually use this little navigation tool right here and the magnifying glass to zoom into a certain spot when you want extra detail in a certain spot. And you use magnifying glass like that, and it'll help you move around your little canvas, which helps a lot. You could also rotate it in case you wouldn't do that, and you can flip it just to see what your drawing would look like, if it were flipped. So, post-edit Jen here. So I forgot to mention that there are hotkeys that you can use, that way you don't have to constantly scroll up to this thing to move it around. If you hit spacebar and then you drag, you can also move your canvas like that. Now I haven't found a different way for zooming in and out yet, but yeah, that's a thing. But let's say I want to take this little guy right here, and I want to move him. Well, Firealpaca actually has two different types of selection tools. They have a couple different types of selection tools. I actually normally use these three though. So this is the rectangular select. You just left click, hold down, and then drag, and then it'll create a little rectangle. And then there's a hotkey for what you want to do, and it's Control T, and that allows you to transform your object. You can move it here, you can move it here, you can move it anywhere. You can make it bigger, you can change like the width of it, you can change the height of it, you can flip it if you wanted to. And then, so the only way it'll actually stay where you want it to though is if you hit this OK button right here. So if you were to just hit Control T and then like move it over here and then like click somewhere else or like maybe move to the pen, it'll just move back to where it was before. And you'll notice that I can't actually draw outside of where the bounding box is. So if I want to do that, if I want to get rid of this box, I just tap somewhere else on the screen and then it disappears. And you can draw normally again within bounds. So the next selection tool is going to be the lasso selection tool. You can just click and hold and it'll create a little line that you can draw around your little thing that you want to move. And then you can move around just like that. And then there's the magic select tool. I find that this one's really useful for when you want to color in a certain part of your character, but you don't want to accidentally like run over anything, or if you just want to like move a specific color of something. So what it does is if you click on a shape, it'll only select, so as you can see, only the insides of these shapes are selected. So I can draw out here, but if I try to draw on these lines over here, it's not going to let me. So as you can see, I can only draw on a specific part. So yeah, that's pretty cool. I think I'm gonna delete this. I think I'm gonna delete this and this. I deleted the blob friend, no! Oh, there we go, okay, they're good. Also, there is a text tool. So if you wanted to like say, hi, I'm Blob Friend. Oh, I hit cancel, no. So there's a text tool. If you want to say like, hi, hoi, I'm Blob Friend. And then hit OK. Now you have this text which you can just move around by dragging different places. It's kind of big. We can change the text size here, so I'll change it to like 48 or something. You can change the color of the text here. So you have all these different colors. You can change the edge width, so you can like actually give it a different kind of edge. And you can change the edge color, so I'll make it like pink or something, so that's easier to see. So you could do that. And yeah, I forgot you can also change the font right here. Got a lot of different fonts to choose from, so if you ever need that, that will be there. Let's see, another tool that I haven't talked about yet is the paint or the fill bucket, which I feel like people use a lot, so I'm surprised I haven't talked about it yet. And the fill bucket does what it says. So if you choose your color and then click inside of a certain spot, boom, it's filled. Boom, it's filled. Boom, it's filled. Now you're going to notice that it doesn't do that weird grainy pixel thing that like doesn't actually fill up the entire inside. Like it doesn't leave any little white specks like if you were to do it in paint or whatever. So here it's doing that now. But if I change this here, it's called expand, and I change it by 1 pixel, and I check the box, close the gap, I hit the plus sign. As you can see, it fills it up like completely closes in the edges and stuff. Very, very cool. Psst. Post-editing Jen here again. It looks like I forgot about another thing that I use a lot. So if you scroll down over here, you can see this is the eyedropper tool. Let's say that you have a color and you're drawing with this color, but you actually want to use this color. You can use the eyedropper tool and hit it, and then you'll be able to use this color as well. Oh man, very cool, so cool. All right, back to the rest of the video. So that's the fill bucket. And one of the last tools I'm going to talk about is the gradient tool. Now the gradient tool will allow you to, goodbye blobs, make a gradient based on your colors right here. So it could either be foreground and background colors, so here and here, just your foreground color, so just this one, or the transparent and background color, or transparent and foreground color. So this is transparent and foreground, as you can see. It's transparent for half of it, and then it moves to the foreground color. And the shape is either linear, or you could make it like circular. Do something like this. You could do just foreground, so you do this, and it's just the foreground. It's kind of similar to transparent and foreground, but if you have something like in the back, you can just like, and you just want like one color to spread over it like that, you can do it like that. And then foreground and background. So my background color is white. My foreground color is blue. So I hit this, and as you can see, it's white on top and blue on the bottom. Very cool. And you might have noticed that I did this thing where I clicked it and it like changed its color. So you can do that either by clicking this right here, so you can swap between two different colors, or you can hit X and it'll do that as well. So I think now we've pretty much covered like the very basics of what Firealpaca has to offer. It's really similar to most drawing programs, so like you'll notice like the stabilizer and like your brush sizes and your brush types, they're all going to be there in your different programs as well. So this is just, kind of a basic tutorial on how to do things. So let's say I make a quick drawing. Let's see, it's not drawing for some reason. I wonder why. Because my pen's at 0.5. It's drawing, it's just really small. Okay. I filled that in, and now I'm pretty happy with my project. So what I'm going to do is hit File, Save, and it'll just ask you where you want to save it. I'll save it in my artwork folder. And you're going to want to name it, so I'll name this Hi Tutorial People, and I'll save it like that. So now it'll save it as a Firealpaca file, so you won't be able to like use it as a picture yet. If you want to use it as a picture, then you're going to want to hit File, Export, and you can export it in several different ways. So you can either export it as a 24-bit PNG, a transparent PNG, a JPEG, or a BMP. Now, you want to use the transparent PNG if you don't want any of this background stuff to show up. 24-bit PNG will obviously make it a PNG. JPEG will make it a JPEG, and you can change the quality and all that. And BMP I don't normally use, so I normally go with just like a transparent PNG. So if we export it like this, and then I just change it to like, I say like hi blob, then you'll notice when I go to open it, artwork in game art, the lecture game. Here it is, hi blob, and those little lines that I made before I knew what I was doing. Perfect. So yeah, that's basically the quick rundown of how to use the program Firealpaca. In my next tutorial, I will show you how to use a pixel art program if you want to do pixel art.